Hi everyone, my name is Anna Rose Rowley, and the biggest barrier I identified in regard to community involvement was parent communication. When communication breaks down, parents become less involved, and that lack of involvement directly affects student success. The teachers I work with frequently express trouble getting in touch with parents and families regarding students' academic performance or behaviors, and this is important because research consistently shows that communication forms the foundation of strong school-family partnerships, so addressing this gap is key. Strong communication has real measurable impacts on students, and when communication improves, we see stronger academic outcomes, healthier emotional development, and better behavior in the classroom. When schools communicate clearly and consistently, parents can feel more connected and valued as partners in their child's education, and this partnership leads to greater academic achievement as families are better able to reinforce learning at home, monitor progress, and address challenges before they can grow. Strong communication also enhances students' emotional growth and behavior since parents and teachers can work to align school and home expectations, which helps students feel supported in all environments. It's important to remember that communication isn't just about sending information home, it's about creating trust, building collaboration, and laying the foundation for a learning environment where students can thrive. Parental communication has positive and powerful impacts on student outcomes. When schools keep parents informed and involved, we see improved attendance because families understand the expectations, they know what's happening day to day, and simply students show up more consistently when parents and teachers are on the same page. We also see higher levels of student achievement. When parents understand the classroom expectations, upcoming assignments, and learning goals, they can support their child more effectively at home, even by making small adjustments like checking in on their homework or reinforcing academic skills leads to stronger academic growth. We also see a more positive attitude about school and learning. When parents feel involved and informed, they speak more positively about school at home, and students often internalize that feeling, and students become to feel supported and understood, and then parents feel part of that team that's working towards their child's success. It's important to remember that true leadership in schools requires transparency and honesty, and that we want parents to trust leaders, and that only happens when leaders communicate frequently and clearly. So, some of the barriers that limit parent communication are language, timing, and trust. Language is so important because many of our families speak languages other than English, yet most communication between home and school is only sent in English. And while we have translation tools and interpreters, they're not always available, accessible, and they're often not always accurate. And this can mean that families become discouraged from communicating with schools because the communication tools that we choose don't reflect their true needs. We also have to think about timing, as many families' work hours don't align with school schedules. So this means that last-minute announcements, lack of childcare, transportation, and just the scheduling of events drastically limits parents being able to participate. So when we understand that and we are able to be flexible outside of the teacher workday and reach parents in various ways, such as phone calls, Zoom meetings, emails, it shows that we value their communication and we recognize that they want to be a part of their child's education. It just sometimes life gets in the way. And then one of the hardest barriers to overcome is trust. Many parents have had negative past experiences with schooling, and that history really impacts and shapes how they interact with us today. Others feel that their input isn't valued or respected, or that schools only contact them when their child's in trouble or there's a problem. So we want to work on rebuilding that trust, and we can do so with consistent, positive, and proactive communication. So these are the 3 recommendations that I'm going to make: bilingual staffing, classroom blogs, and collaborative problem solving. So first, thinking about bilingual staffing, under the No Child Left Behind Act, schools are responsible for communicating with all parents in languages that they can understand. This includes information about their child's achievement, test scores, overall school performance, and it ensures that all students and their families feel included and supportive within the school. And then when communication is accessible, families are more informed, connected, and more confident engaging with the school as well. So having bilingual staff on site becomes an invaluable internal resource that we can have, and it's one that facilitates smoother communication. But the first step is identifying the languages spoken by families. And the best way to do that is sending a survey probably at the beginning of the year, and it lets us know who we're serving, and then we become much more targeted and responsive in our strategies moving forward. We can also determine where bilingual staff are most needed, such as in the front office, positions like counselors, classroom aides, and when we prioritize these roles, we ensure that families can interact comfortably and get answers without frustration or confusion. We also need to recruit bilingual staff, and it's essential because it's not just for translation, it's about building real relationships. When families can hear their home language spoken, they immediately feel seen, respected, and included. And we also need to provide training and resources so that the bilingual team understands school communication procedures, confidentiality expectations, and the specific ways that families need support. And finally, we need to track their satisfaction so we can see what's working and where gaps still exist, and then use that to kind of refine our system moving forward. We have classroom blogs because they allow us to design effective forms of school-to-home communication about school progress and just programs that we have within our school. It provides a consistent, organized, and easy-to-access place where families can stay informed about what's happening in the classroom. A key benefit of the vlog is transparency. Parents don't have to wonder what their child is learning or what assignments are coming up. Everything is readily available. It's also accessible, flexible, and easy. So it allows families to check it at any time that works for them. They can access it from any device that works for them, and they can find information that is clear and organized. And then it provides information and ideas to families about how to help students at home. So teachers can post tips, study guides, curriculum expectations, and just ways that families can help reinforce learning outside of the classroom. So the first step is building a team that includes administration, classroom teacher, IT support. Just having the team ensures that a blog is set up correctly, it's maintained over time, and it supports both technical and educational needs. We also need to choose a platform of the blog, and there is no guidelines for that, but the key is that it's choosing something easy for families to navigate. So once the blog is created, we have to share the link in multiple ways. We can do this through email, through physically by sending a letter home, but the key is to make sure that families know how to find the blog and know how to access it. And then a valuable feature is that it's a section for parents to communicate. We want to give families a space to ask questions, offer feedback, and share their voices. And we really want to promote this two-way communication rather than just one-way announcements of the teacher posting things. And then finally, we can collect parent feedback to understanding where improvements are needed, maybe more things they would like to see, and then grow the blog into a strong communication tool. Lastly, we have collaborative problem solving, where we want to emphasize having parents from all backgrounds serve as representatives and leaders on our school committees and as part of our school decision-making teams. This framework really wants parents to be partners, not just spectators in schools, and the heart of this approach is working together. So when parents are invited into this process, they gain greater ownership of their child's education because we really work together to intentionally focus on areas such as academic progress, addressing concerns before they grow into larger issues, and then we can set goals that families and teachers can work on jointly, and it becomes a platform for parents and teachers to collaborate, understand, and support the students' growth. It builds trust, strengthens communication, and keeps everyone aligned around the students' needs. And we can begin this with teacher quarterly meetings. So at the beginning of the year, we can send a survey to understand the times, formats, and communication methods that work best for each family. And then every 10 weeks, we can hold scheduled conferences with parents. And these meetings go beyond just, traditional problem-based, but instead they give us a space to establish shared goals that can be supported both at school and at home. We can brainstorm solutions together, and we can set up clear check-in plan for communication. And these offer two-way communication that keeps families engaged, informed, and connected in their child's learning. And then this approach strengthens parent communication as a whole because it works to build trust by giving families consistent, meaningful, and opportunities to be involved within their child's education. So when we think about the future, we think that we know that we need bilingual staff, classroom blogs, and collaborative problem solving to support communication, engagement, and teamwork among teachers and families. But then the question is, how do we ensure that these stay effective over time? So we can collect parent and teacher surveys, which will help us understand what's working and what needs adjustment. We can also bring families more deeply into the life of school through parent takeovers, which not only strengthens relationships, but also builds trust and visibility. That's something we can also do with cultural exchange days. We can create parent advisory boards that give families a real seat at the table, ensuring that decisions reflect the diverse perspectives in our community. And through regular stakeholder meetings, we can review progress, analyze engagement data, and refine our practices based on what we learn. Together, these steps can help us monitor the impact, stay responsive, and make our communication strategies continue to strengthen connections between teachers, families, parents, and the entire school community. Thank you, and these are my references.